welcome to Fearless Fridays Power Up Tips. I'm Dr. Dranitsaris, here today to talk to you and provide you with some tips on how to stop yourself from devaluing yourself, how to stop that automatic pilot language, those automatic negative thoughts that cause you to have the imposter syndrome and not give yourself adequate or appropriate credit for your accomplishments and your achievements. So let's first talk a little bit about what is self-devaluation, because we all know that from time to time, we will minimize ourselves and not give ourselves due credit. But when it's a strategy, when it's an imposter syndrome strategy, self-devaluation is actually the act of putting yourself down and not giving yourself credit for your gifts and unique abilities. It can make you feel like you're not good enough. And it's the intention of the imposter syndrome, because it is part of our self-protective system, to keep us safe by keeping us small and in our comfort zone. So devaluation actually serves to keep us safe, but what it truly, truly does, it keeps us safe at the expense of the development of our authentic self. Because when we constantly undervalue ourselves, we end up feeling like a fraud. We doubt our abilities and we tend to sabotage ourselves in relationships and in our careers. We actually believe the lies that we tell ourselves in our heads, and believe that our accomplishments really are more about luck than the hard work and effort that we put into it. This negative mindset really fuels the imposter syndrome. And we end up feeling like we don't belong where we are. We're lucky to have a seat at the table. We're never, ever, ever good enough. And so everybody else is. It's another thing we do when we devalue ourselves is we compare ourselves to others and we come out lacking. So individuals with the imposter syndrome often experience anxiety, self-doubt, and the fear of being exposed as frauds. And this is just one of the many things that fuel the imposter syndrome. And despite, how many people actually suffer from the imposter syndrome, they don't seek help because they believe their feelings stem from some sort of character flaw or personal inadequacies instead of a mental regulatory system. Self-devaluation is a strategy. It's a defensive strategy to protect ourselves and to ensure psychological safety. It is nothing more or nothing less than that. But the belief that we actually aren't good enough, well, it comes from a constantly judging ourselves using some subjective criteria as opposed to anything to do with reality. Setting unrealistic expectations and falling short of them, these are the types of things that really support the self-devaluation. Another habit of mind that lends itself is, as I said, that constant comparison, believing everyone else is more competent and successful. And in this way, we feel that we don't measure up, and it contributes to those feelings of being an imposter. And then what we do is to really preserve the integrity of this false belief is that we don't take in any feedback. And we can reject the praise that others give us and calling it undeserved or insincere. So this discounting of accomplishments and telling themselves they're deceiving others, all of this contributes to the imposter syndrome. And if you're dealing with the imposter syndrome and self-devaluation, the first thing that you need to do is recognize it's a real condition that affects a lot of people. You're not alone, and you're not inadequate or a fraud. You're stuck in a developmental delay. This is your safe place. This is your comfort zone. You do have accomplishments that are worth acknowledging, and you have talents, gifts, and abilities like everyone else that need to be developed. And think about our talents and our gifts. They're like precious seeds that we have to nurture and attend to and make sure that they're cultivated and given what they need to really thrive. And when we don't do that, when we put all of our energy into our imposter persona so that people will think that we're okay, we don't tend to the needs of our authentic self. So, how do you go from imposter to powerful? You need to seek help from an expert like myself who understands the mechanics of the syndrome and how to help people shift from imposter to powerful. Not all therapists and coaches know how to do this. Therapy and life coaching can help you recognize your imposter syndrome story and automatic negative patterns of thinking and give you the tools to change your brain and shift from self-devaluation to self-affirmation. Start now. It's like going to the gym for the first time. You have to retrain your brain with tools like mindfulness and the match game, where we take an automatic negative thought, immediately catch it, and then shift to an affirmative thought about ourselves without paying too much attention to that automatic negative thought. That helps you break free of the thinking, the self-devaluation that keeps you stuck. Remember, self-devaluation fuels the imposter syndrome, causing your brain to tell you lies that tell you things that you don't deserve success or recognition. But this is your story. It's not the reality of who you are, what you've achieved, and what your actual potential is. So stop believing the lies you tell yourself that generate anxiety and emotional distress. You have the choice and the power to shift from imposter to powerful right now. So thanks for listening today. I'm Dr. Dranitsaris, and I hope you'll join me next time as I continue to give you tips on how to power past the imposter syndrome. Bye for now.